Okay, so we're recording, and welcome Mary and Riley and Allison and Gabriel and Crystal and Elena and Handia, Lauren and Nick, Mackenzie, Julianne, Brenda, Carla, Abigail. I'll call you 49 and 31 because all I have is your phones. My name is Larry, and this is the online statistics class orientation. So we're going to be having webinars every week, but this is the only one that is a mandatory live webinar. Okay, a lot of people are going to be watching this tomorrow also. Mandatory, or you got the paper. So the stats class, it's a 12-week class, and my guess, and maybe you can, and this is time for you to practice also, maybe you can put in the chat box where you live, and I don't need your address or anything, but just a general vicinity, what city or something like that. It might be Tahoe, it might not be. Crystal, it looks like you might be in Tahoe from the background, I'm not sure. Okay, Modesto, I always get some Modesto students. I have a following of Modesto. I'm not quite sure why, but I do have a following of Modesto, and I think I've been there once in my life. Vacaville, San Jose, in Mid-Pines, okay, Placerville, Oakland, there's a South Lake Tahoe, San Francisco. Wow, so you're all over the place. Camp Pendleton, I was born there, by the way. And another South Lake Tahoe. Okay, and again, this is an online class. You do not need to live in Tahoe. You never, ever have to come to Tahoe for this class, but I do highly recommend sometime in your life come to Tahoe because I do think we are the most beautiful place on Earth. So if you get a chance, you should come to Tahoe, not for this class. But you don't have to be in Tahoe to take this online class. What you do have to have is online access because it is an online class. So if you can't get online, then you can't succeed in this class. And Sacramento, okay? So that's just a note. It's an online class. I come from Tahoe, doesn't mean you have to or anything like that. You are going to be working with each other, and there's some group work to do in this class, but that doesn't mean, again, that you ever have to see anybody else in the class. So the working together could be done in the online environment. I don't think that being an online student means that you can't work together. I think that being a student is being a student. So that's just a note. You do need to be able to work with each other. And what I'm going to do today mostly is go over the syllabus and go over the class, the kind of the rules, some strategies on succeeding, and what to expect. That's kind of the plan of the class. So in a bit, I'm going to be sharing my desktop so you can actually see the Canvas class. And have all of you can type in yes or no, if you have gone to the Canvas shell and kind of glanced over it, taken a look at some of the stuff, just put a yes or Y, whatever. If you haven't, put an N. Okay, so it looks like most of you have, which is good, because that was my recommendation. Not everyone follows it. All right, everyone but Crystal. Okay, so Crystal, you'll definitely want to do that because, well, you're going to have to do it a whole lot for the next 12 weeks because that's where the class is. So I'm going to share my desktop, which means I'm not going to necessarily see all of you again. I'll be able to see the chat box, so. And let me go share it, and you'll be able to see my desktop. And let me hit home screen, actually, because that's where you're going to see first. And let me make sure the chat box is shown. And I want to let you know what we're in now is called Zoom. And Zoom is a tool I use for webinars because it allows everyone to communicate with each other live, and it allows you to see my desktop, which is really nice, and you can hear me. So it's almost like being in a regular classroom, and I feel like online I don't like kind of taking away some of the positives in a regular face-to-face classroom. I try to bring everything I can into the online environment, and then anything that we can do online that we can't do in a face-to-face, we do that also. So that's just a note, is that this is going to be the environment we're going to be using for webinars. So when you go to the home screen right now, it's going to send you to these modules. Okay. Let me ask you to put in the chat box one more time if you have taken a class that used Canvas before. And where is my chat box? I need to see you guys anymore, but I need to see the chat. There it is. My computer's a little slow on this one. Okay, so it's a mix. Most of you, yes, some of you know, but this is what's called Canvas, and Canvas is called a course management system, and it's where I put all of the online course materials and all the different stuff. Some of the things are like on YouTube, but they get put into Canvas at the same time, as I'll show you in a little bit. So this is Canvas, and if you've taken another course, it has some similarities. There are some things that are going to look pretty different, though, because this is my class and it's a math class. So in Canvas, on the kind of towards the left pane, there's home, modules, discussions. I think I'm going to actually get rid of some of this because you don't need it. Grades and syllabus. Those are the main things. And then people and free online tutoring. So the order at which you have things, these are all the important ones up at the top. So let me start with the syllabus. If you click on syllabus, or I'm going to be clicking on it so you can see it. So I clicked on syllabus, and this is the class. And I want to go over the little pieces of the course so that everybody is on board with how it works. Okay, so first thing is this is Math 201. It's an online class. And as I mentioned, online means just about everything can be online. The only things that are not online are going to be the 2 exams, but they could be local. So I don't make you come to Tahoe, as I mentioned, but for the 2 exams, you're going to have to go to a proctor, which I'll mention in a bit, I promise. And the chat box is not showing. I keep, there it is. It's weird how it goes that way. But if you have questions, the best is just ask them. The second best is to type in the chat box. And then for some reason, it's sometimes showing it to me. Okay, so the class is Elements of Statistics and Probability. And what that means is we're going to be basically finding out how to look at data and then how to analyze the data and understand it and also make conclusions. This is a very different class from any other math class you've taken. Okay, and by the way, I don't say that in my other math classes that I teach. I'm full-time, I teach lots of classes. Lately, stats is my major class because so many people take stats. And I always fill my online classes. But what's different about this one is it's not just abstract thinking and writing down a lot of numbers and symbols and moving them around, putting x equals 7, putting a box around it, and saying you're done. That's, some people might think that's fun, but most people actually want to go to college so that they can use it for succeeding in the world or your career or whatever it might be, okay, or to be able to do research so that you can have very good information and things that people trust. And what statistics does is it provides support to make sure that people can trust what you're saying. And the other thing it does, it allows you to look at what other people are doing and say, well, this person's a bunch of hogwash. They didn't do their stuff right, and it's just wrong. Or you can look at it and say, this person did a very professional job and has a very believable argument because they backed up their ideas with data and statistics. So again, it's a very different kind of class. There's a little bit of algebra, not much at all. There's a lot of writing. So just a warning, there's a lot of writing for this class because, again, it's all about using statistics. My name is Larry Green. I'll tell you a little about myself first. I have been teaching since probably longer than most of you have been born. Again, I don't know how old all of you are, but I've been at Lake Tahoe Community College since 1996. So it's been a long time. And before that, I was at Sonoma State University teaching as an adjunct instructor. So it's like half-time kind of before I can get a real career. That's kind of how it works with professors, is you have to start out with a part-time and then you go to full-time. So I've been teaching forever. I've been teaching statistics for most of that time, and I've been teaching online for about half that time. So that's a long time, 15 years or so of teaching statistics online. What that means is I've been able to improve and get student ideas and then make my class what I consider more robust every time I teach it. So there's going to be a lot of materials in this class for you to be able to learn from. It doesn't mean that you have to go and look at everything, but what I do is I make sure that whatever your learning style is, there is something there for you so that you can learn it. Okay, that's my goal. And throughout the class, if you ever have any suggestions on how to address your learning style so that I can help you out, let me know so that I can add that in. And then the nice thing is not only will it help you, but it'll help people for the next, 10 or 15 years until I'm retired. Okay, and other people, by the way, are using my stuff too, so it's not just until I'm retired. It might be eternity for all I know. So that is me. Again, I've been doing stats forever. I've been in Tahoe forever. I love Tahoe, and I love statistics. And I use it not just to teach, but I do a lot of helping others in their analyzing data. In fact, I just got an email from a former student from several years ago, and she's writing her thesis, and she wants some help. And I'm helping her out just because she was my student once, and I'll be able to do that for you in 5 years as you're writing your master's thesis or however long it is. Today is different than pretty much every other webinar is, and today I'm doing it from home because it's Sunday. Normally I'll be giving webinars from the from my office, and I have an office phone number, and that's 541-4660 extension 341. First thing is I don't look at my smartphone very often. I'm not like a millennial, sorry. Smartphone is not my chosen technology, computer is. So you're best not trying to text me or send me an email via send me a message or a call over a smartphone, even though you have it now, because I may not get back to you for a while. On the other hand, email I check all the time. So email you can get a few ways. One way, if you go to the inbox, in fact, I'll just click on that. And then you just click this little writing thing, compose a new message, and then you can choose me and then email me. Okay, so there's a lot of ways of doing that. That's one way of doing it. Let me go back to courses. Let's go to, okay, there it is. And let's go back to the syllabus. But I wanted to show you how to do that. And I will promise to get back to you within 24 hours. There might be one day, maybe 2 days, and they're weekend days where I won't get back to you. I might go backpacking on Memorial Day weekend, for example, and then, of course, forget it because I'll be backpacking and out of access. But I'm online a lot. So if I don't get back to you within a day, you should worry that maybe something, what that probably means is that your internet didn't work. The email didn't get to me. Okay, so again, that's what it means. I get back to you, I promise. Okay, that's one thing. We all have our personalities, and that's my personality is I don't like having a long list of things to do. I like just doing it and getting it over with and answering questions right away so that people aren't like worrying about like how come it's been so long. So just let you know, I will get back to you and send me a message via Canvas email or this email. It sends me to the same place. And I will get back to you right away. What I recommend doing, see this where it says Canvas web page? What I recommend is putting that Canvas web page on your bookmarks in your browser. And the reason for that is you can come in via LTCC in your passport, your student login stuff. And that's great. But honestly, I wish it wasn't true, but Lake Tahoe Community College's web server is not as reliable as Canvas is. So Canvas will pretty much always work. In fact, there's a disaster if it doesn't. Any guess on where Canvas's webpage sits? And what I'm telling you is that it won't go down. That's a hint. For some reason, it takes forever for the chat box to pop on up for me. Any guess?
I'm going to say a dedicated server.
Yeah, in particular, Amazon. So if it goes down, there's big national problems. Amazon doesn't go down. Yeah, Canvas actually rents from Amazon. So it won't go down. Canvas works. So if you can't get in, it just means your internet's down, not theirs. So that's the good news. It's a really good system.
Right.
Right now, you are in the webinar page. And I sent you a link to get here. So I'll give you the good news is that link won't change. So this link that you clicked on to be able to join the webinar will be the same link all quarter long for the full 12 weeks for any time you do a webinar, or if you want to talk to me like in office hours via this way, it's the same link. Okay, if you're going to talk to me during office hours, let me know you can talk to me so I can log on. Because if I'm not logged on, you're talking to yourself, and that doesn't help. Okay, so make sure that you get this link. Again, you won't want to keep that one forever too. So right now, there's a link to the archive lectures. This is not the current link to the archive lectures. I'll click on it. This goes to YouTube. And the reason why it's not linked to the current archive lectures is we haven't had one yet. So I have to have a video to post to be able to have a page to send it to. Does that make sense? And then what I'll do is I will have a YouTube channel, and I'll have a playlist that has all the webinars on it, so you can go back and re-listen to them very easily. You could also go through Canvas and easily look at it that way. The reason I post it on YouTube is that I found, again, YouTube never goes down. Everybody knows how to get onto YouTube. It's just kind of the way people do things. So I found that YouTube seems to work the best for dealing with that. Okay, I have another playlist, and these are what's called full-length YouTube lectures. And when you look at these, you'll notice that there are 13 of them on this station. Okay, this is a playlist on YouTube. And that's because there are 13 chapters in the book. So I've created a YouTube lecture that's what I call full length. So these are like 52 minutes for this one and 51. Some are shorter. There's one that's over an hour, I believe. Couple of them over here and here, chapter 9 and 10, over an hour. These are full-length, long lectures. I do recommend you watch them, and there'll be links by week on when you want to watch them, but I also have them all in one place in case you want to, review or whatever. I also have short introductory lectures for each week, and that I'll show you in a little bit. That's kind of be the way that you might want to start the week. You get to hear like a 1 minute or 2 minute little intro on what we're doing for the week. I also have videos of worked out problems. You'll notice that I'm a big video maker. And what these are is they go with your homework. So when you're doing your homework, there will be a link to a video to help you if you get stuck. You click on that, and they're like 4 minutes long or so. So you'll click on that, and then you'll be able to watch a little short video that's a problem that's somewhat similar to the one you're working on. Okay, interactive applets, I'll show you that when maybe a week or so or two before the exams, because that's more for that time. That's for studying for an exam. Any questions so far? Pop up chat again. For some reason, it's not letting me keep chat up. So I have to keep popping it up. Any questions?
I have a question. I see
Yeah.
that number 3 says live lectures, office hours. I know you said you would be office hours. Will you let us know if there's going to be a live lecture?
Yes. Yeah. And in fact, let me talk about them. That's a really good question. And what we're going to be doing on the live lectures, they're going to be a little different than the orientation. The platform is exactly the same. It's the same link. It'll look just like this. But the difference between the orientation and live lectures is live lectures are going to be the content for the class. And they're going to usually be on Monday or Tuesday evenings. Now, I am happy to take a request, but I like them towards the beginning of the week because everything is due on Thursday and Sunday. So if I wait a while and have them say on Thursday, it might be too late to be able to get your work done. Does that make sense? But if you want to have a lunch webinar, we can do that too. All you have to do is pop in the Q&A, which I'll show you in a bit, forum saying, hey, I'd like the webinar at this time on this day. My only requirement is that if you request a time for the next webinar and I say, and I go with it, you have to come. Otherwise, it's not really fair that you request and then don't even show up. But so you're requesting and promising you'll be there if it's at that time. I tend to have it Monday and Tuesday evening, not because that's best for me, but that's best for you. And because I've been teaching this a very long time, and I've tried different times, and I've found that Monday and Tuesday evening, I get the biggest attendance. So that's why I usually make them those evenings. But again, I'm willing to have them different times. I usually let you know on Thursday when the webinar will be. I will tell you, though, the chapter 1 and 2 webinars, in other words, the week 1 lecture webinar, will be Tuesday evening. And that's because Monday evening I'm doing a repeat of this webinar. Does that totally answer your question?
Yes, that did. Thank you.
Okay, great. And I want to let you know the whole point of these webinars is so that you can ask questions. So that's great you asked a question. And don't feel uncomfortable asking a question. That's the reason. Otherwise, you could just read a book. But this way we can interact and I can answer your question right away and you don't have to go spend a lot of time figuring it out. The textbook. Something that I am very, very deeply passionate about is making sure that economics is not what keeps you out of succeeding in the class. So I'm a strong believer in free everything. I wish I could make tuition free, but unfortunately I don't have that power. But if you're a first year student, I think now full time, you get free tuition, which is nice. So hopefully some of you took advantage of that. So the book is free. If you click on this link, it will send you to OpenStax. OpenStax is an organization that hosts free books, and they are heavily funded by like the Gates Foundation, I think, funds them, and Hewlett, like millions and millions of dollars. So the nice thing is they're really stable. And if you click on contents, you go to whatever chapter you're looking at. So if you want to look at, I don't know, 1.4 just for fun, experimental design and ethics. And there it is. Okay, you can also hit get this book. I'm not going to do this because I don't want to download the whole PDF of the book, but if you want the book, let's say you're going to be offline for a while and you want to be able to read the book offline, you can download the PDF. And you can do that. You can also, if you really felt like it, but I warn you, it's going to be a lot of paper, you can download the PDF and print the thing, and it'll be like 600 pages or 700. It's really long. But you can do that. You could also click that get the book, and I think it's like Amazon or something, and you can order it that way. But you do not need to spend money for this book. Any questions on that? But what you are required to do is read it. Okay? So you do need to go in, do what I just did each week, and go through and read through the sections. Okay, we do most of the sections, but not all of them. And I'll let you know. You'll be able to figure that out too, mostly. Any questions on the textbook? Also from the homework, which I'll show you in a bit. Okay, the homework is a bad word, is a weird word for online because everything is homework online, right? Because you're doing everything at home or wherever you are. But for what I call the homework or the assignments, there'll be a link to the section of the book that assignment is dealing with from every problem. So you'll be able to quickly reference the book when you need to. Okay, the course description, we're going to, again, I think I've talked about it already, but we're going to look at data analysis, probability distribution, sampling, hypothesis testing, confidence intervals, regression analysis, and non-parametric analysis. Again, if you understand everything about everything that's on this list, you don't belong in this class because you already know statistics. So the whole point is it's okay if you don't understand most of these. It won't be okay in late June if you don't understand because you're going to be tested on it. I'll let you read through student learning outcomes. Prereq, don't worry about it now because you're in the class. My grading policy. I grade on a 90, 80, 70, 60. Okay, and that's a pretty strict grading policy. So you know where you are in the class. On each test, I curve it, but the percent that you get, that tells you what your grade is. And I curve it and make a percent out of it is how I do the tests. In terms of the way the grading works, there are going to be assignments, that's like homework problems, and that's 10% of the grade. There are going to be discussions. So you're going to have to post, and then someone else is going to have to analyze your post each week, just about every week, and that's 10% of the grade. There is a proctored midterm, and that has to be taken by May 29th. And I'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to exam policy after I just go through this list. That's 20% of the grade. There are 2 projects. Those are due May 5th and June 16th. Those are group projects, and they're 15% each. And then there's a proctored final exam that is June 26th, and that's 30% of your grade. It's a big part of the grade. I do want to let you know that here's something that I will always say no to. When you're done with the final and you say, well, is there anything I can do at this point, like extra credit? The answer is no. Once the final's over, the class is over. So don't even ask. I mean, if you ask, I'll just say no, just let you know that. But I always get a lot of people asking, and it's like, come on. So once the final's over, then the class is over, and that's it. And you can celebrate, hopefully. Any questions about the grading policy?
So you said specifically that there's no extra credit after the final?
What's that?
You said specifically that there will be no extra credit after the final. Is that hinting that there could be extra credit before it?
There is one little extra credit problem on the midterm exam, and that's about it. Okay. What I do, there's a lot of work to do in this class. So honestly, if you need extra stuff, the extra stuff you need to do is really work hard on the work so you get a lot of points on the work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's going to be no time between tomorrow and June 26th where you don't have stuff to do for this class. That's for sure. So what you want to do is your extra credit is to study a lot so that you can succeed on the midterm. Practice lots of problems so you can succeed on the midterm and succeed on the final and the projects. Because if you look at that, that's most of the grade. Is the midterm, the final, and the projects are 80% of the grade. So what you need to do is practice, 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 practice. And I'll even show you how to succeed on the project too.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, there isn't like other stuff to do because then it's not extra credit. Then it's just all part of, the curve or whatever. And it's just me giving you more work. And that's not what I'm here for. What I want you to do is be able to succeed on the work that you have. Okay, so my exam policy, and this is, for a lot of you, this is going to be the part that you get most confused about, but I'll do my best. So the first thing is you have the 2 exams, the midterm and the final. They're not for a while. Again, if you scroll up, the midterm doesn't happen until May 29th. You got lots of time. Don't wait till the last minute. But what you bring to the exam, you're going to bring your calculator. I'll talk about that in a bit, but you need a statistics calculator. Pencil or pen, I think that's kind of obvious. Paper, if you're one to write large, I give normal people enough. Like if you're an average person, I give you enough to write what you need to write on the tests. But some people tend to write and write and write for some reason and then bring some blank paper. Okay, you can also bring a single 3x5 note card. Okay, that's 3 inches by 5 inches, by the way. You can write on both sides. And I'm not a believer in making you memorize a zillion formulas, especially for this class, because the purpose of this class is not to get you ready for the next math class so that you have all the formulas in your head. It's not meaningful at all. The purpose of this class is to get you ready for research. And when you're doing research, you can look things up. So that's why for this class, I let you have a 3x5 note card with writing on both sides. It doesn't mean you can, write a book worth of stuff, but you can write all the little formulas you need. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, and there will be a lot of them, and I'll let you know which ones I recommend to put on the note card. Okay, the exam must be proctored. So for those of you at LTCC, or who want to take a nice vacation, because it's beautiful here at LTCC, then our library has free proctoring for everybody. And all you have to do is contact them ahead of time, let them know when you're going to take the test. The tests are each 2 hours long. And then you just pop in, they hand you the test. It's paper and pencil. You write it all out, you give it back to them, they give it to me, and I grade it. If you're not at LTCC, okay, and I know, and that's why one of the reasons why I asked you at the very beginning, who's at LTCC? If you're not at LTCC, that means that you're going to have to find a proctor. For some of you, it'll be pretty easy. For others, you're going to have to search a bit. I'm happy to help you with that. I've been doing this for many years, and everybody can find a proctor. So let me tell you kind of the top few places people get proctors. Number one is our local college, especially community college, but even the universities do it. And not all of them will do it, but many of them will do it. So what you do is you contact your local college, ask them if they'll do it. Some charge, and you got to, I'm not gonna pay for you. You're gonna have to pay, but hopefully they're not gonna charge too bad. And you set up an appointment. There's going to be a midterm information quiz, and all that is you tell me who your proctor is, where they are, and how do I send it, basically. Their information, like the web page, their phone number, email, whatever. Definitely email, so that I can email, and then I email the exam to the proctor. The proctor prints it out. You go to the proctor. They hand you the test. You write out the test. You get back to them. They scan it in or take pictures of it and then email it back to me. Okay, so again, local college is number one. And there are colleges all over the world. So I've had students take this class from Cuba. I've had students take this class from India, from Morocco, from England, you name it, lots of different places. I even had one student, this was the weirdest, who took the class. She was never in any country anytime during the class. Any guess?
Space.
That'd be really cool. But
On a boat?
Yeah, she was on a boat. Yeah, she worked on a cruise ship. Yeah, she worked on a cruise ship. And I will make it work. What I did is I contacted the cruise ship. I found out, because if I find the proctor, then I can trust the person. Does that make sense? And I had the minister do it. I figure if I can't trust the minister, the cruise ship had a minister, and I let that happen. So I will find a proctor for you if you can't find one. The other places where people find proctors are tutoring centers, like kids tutoring for like middle school and high school kids. They do proctoring. They charge a lot, but at least they do it. Another one that I will always say okay to is if you are in our armed services, our military, then whoever your commanding officer is always okay as a proctor. Okay, because that means that you're serving our country, and I got to do what I can and make it work. And they almost are always happy to proctor. I never had a commanding officer say no, so that's always fine too. Okay, and everyone's got a smartphone now, so they can take pictures of it and email it to me. So even that part's not too bad. They just have to have a printer so that they can print out the pages for you. Any questions about the proctoring?
I have a question. And maybe I missed it, but would a local library work?
Yeah, oh, I forgot to mention that. Public libraries is actually another one, and they're often free. And free is always good, right? But check, make sure that they can do it. A lot of libraries do it. Thanks for suggesting that, because I forgot to mention that one. And that one, it's funny thing is that's kind of a new one. They didn't used to, and now they're starting to do it. The proctoring.
I have another question.
Uh-huh.
Would an old math teacher work?
An old math teacher works if I find the old math teacher.
Okay.
If it's just some random teacher, not usually.
Okay.
And young is fine too. I'm not discriminatory on age. Yeah. So if it's a math teacher at a particular, that's specifically at a college, then often I'll let it happen. But I need to check it out, and that can work.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be math, by the way. They don't have to know any math to proctor, by the way, because all they do is print it, hand it to you, stay in the room, and then pick it up when you're done, and then email it to me. That's it. So it doesn't have to be math. I have had a lot of teachers do that. Okay. But if I can't find them on their website, on the college's website or the school's website, then it's a no. Okay, so you can't just give me a name and like tell me it's a teacher. I have to go, and then I go through the school and contact the person through the school. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it can work. What doesn't work is your best friend, your sister, something like that. That's not okay. Okay, any questions at all on this? Okay. And by the way, the dates, those are the last dates that you can take the test. You could take the test, and a lot of people take the test. The tests are both on Wednesdays. I do that so you can take it on the weekend before, or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Does that make sense? And that should satisfy everybody's schedule. You can't take it late. It needs to be taken on there or before. If you take it earlier than the weekend, I will let you do that. The problem with that is that you'll be probably missing time to study, and you'll be missing the review session. So I don't recommend taking it earlier than the weekend before the test. But it is allowed, just not recommended, if that makes sense. Okay. Any questions at all on this? This is usually the hardest part for explaining what's going on. Okay, I'll also talk about it just before, like a week or two before the test. Okay, then there are assignments. Those are problem sets basically, and those are due on Sundays. I have them due close to midnight on Sunday, but I really recommend, strongly recommend that you get most of it done by Friday. And in fact, I have a perk. And that is, I will only accept requests for extensions if the request is asked for by Friday. Okay, now listen carefully, because you don't know how many emails I get after Friday, and then I have to say no. Okay, and the idea is, because I strongly recommend that you work on these by Friday night, then at that point, you should know whether you're going to need more time. Okay, on Sunday, if that's when you've decided you need more time, then what happened on Friday? Okay, I'm a big, I give out big rewards for those who don't procrastinate. And that's one of them, is that I allow for extensions if you ask by Friday. And if you don't, forget it. If you send me an email Sunday night that said my internet went down Sunday, then I'll send you one back saying what happened on Friday. So you need to let me know by Friday if you need an extension. So don't wait till Sunday to do all your work. It will not work. This class has a lot of work to do, and things go wrong on the internet. Okay. There is an online exam that is kind of looking like, it's kind of a compilation of the homeworks that happened in the first 4 weeks or so. And that's due April 28th. And it covers chapters 1 through 6. So that one's not proctored or anything like that, but it's a nice exam to find out, do you get this stuff at that point? Okay, it's a long exam, by the way. Okay, there are discussion assignments. So I noticed that a lot of you said that you have taken an online class, which is great. Let me ask you something else, and you can pop that in the chat if you want. How many of you have had an online class and had discussion assignments involved in that? So yes or no? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Okay, so most of you are. So Brenda isn't, but the rest of you at least responded. You've all done online classes, and they pretty much, almost all of them. Nick hasn't, but most of you have. Pretty much every online class has discussion assignments. I know that for a different reason. I have a lot of hats. One of my hats is I am a California State reviewer for online classes. And most of the classes I review are not math classes. So I get to see lots of other online classes, which is nice because then I get to steal from them. Okay, illegally steal, by the way. So I get to take their ideas and put them into mine because that would be really good for my class, and I pop that in. And discussions are standard. The way mine are might be a little different because it's a math class. What I do is most of the discussions are you have to go online and you have to go find an article. Sometimes it's a peer-reviewed journal article. Sometimes it's a news article. I'll let you know. It can also be a video. And that article or video is going to cover the main topic of what we're doing in class that week. So you find that article, and then you post that article. I'll show you what that looks like in a bit when we get into the campus. So you post that article. Something I didn't mention, I should mention right now, because I forgot, is that webinars, I try to make them no longer than an hour and a half. So we're at 10:47 right now, so we should be done by 11:30. And after that, what I do is I open up to any questions, and I stick around until there's no more questions. We might go earlier. They're almost never less than an hour, and I don't go over an hour and a half. So just to know how long you're going to be hanging here with me. I don't want to torture you with a 6-hour lecture. I think that would kill everyone. But I figure an hour and a half we can do. So you're going to find this article. You're going to post it. And then somebody else from the class, not you, is going to find your post, read the article, and then do a full statistical analysis of it. Okay, and that will be all figured out then. There's another kind of discussion where instead of an article, and this happens I think 2 or 3 times, I think maybe only 2, where you have to write out a math problem. And I'll give you guidelines of what that kind of problem should be. You post the question, and then someone else has to answer your question. Any questions on the ideas of these discussion posts? Okay, I have some rules about the discussion. One of them is that the initial post, that might be posting your article, or the link to the article, or maybe posting your math problem, must be done by Thursday. After Thursday, I will always take off points. Just let you know that. Okay, it's not that hard to find an article and post it. It doesn't take that long. Okay, then by Sunday, you have to do the full response by Sunday night. Any questions on that? Okay, I also provide, again, I give you all kinds of, or I try to give you all kinds of rewards for not procrastinating, because I'm a big believer in that as a life skill. So I'm trying to help you get that life skill. If you can post by Wednesday instead of by Thursday, then I will guarantee that I will look at your article. And if it doesn't work, I'll let you know so that you can find another article, post it, and get full credit. Whereas if you post on Thursday and it doesn't work, then I just take off a lot of points. So I give you an extra reward for posting early. And the idea is if I give my webinar on Monday or Tuesday, then giving you by Wednesday to post an article is reasonable. You can also, of course, watch all the other videos and learn about the stuff, and you can read the chapter. Any questions about these discussions? Okay. There's one more discussion that happens this week that's just fun, okay? And actually there's a couple of them. There's one more at the very last one that's supposed to be pretty fun too. And that's not going to be a statistics-oriented lecture, a webinar, as you'll see. Okay, the why webinars I just talked about, but I want to mention a couple things because today's live webinar is a little different than the rest of them. First thing is what will happen on Tuesday's webinar. This is the only week we have 2 of them because we have orientation and we have the chapter 1 and 2 webinar, which is a single webinar for chapters 1 and 2 because they're shorter chapters or quicker chapters. Is that for the rest of the webinars, I strongly recommend you attend live, but if you can't, then you can watch it on YouTube. And then by watching it on YouTube, what I will do at the end of the ordinary webinars, not the orientation, but the ordinary webinars, at the end of the ordinary webinars, I'll be giving what I call my secret word. So I'll be announcing a word, a special word for that webinar. And then there's a secret word quiz every week. And it has one question. The question is, what was the secret word? You type in the secret word and you get it. And that's all there is. It's very easy if you watch the webinar. And there's nothing secret about it if you watch the webinar. I'm going to announce, here's the secret word. You're going to see it in bright colors. And so you'll see the webinar. And it'll be somewhere during the webinar. Okay,
And that's for both live and on YouTube?
Yeah, it's because the live is the, see what right now, right? I don't know if you know, I mentioned at the very beginning is I'm recording this webinar, and what we're doing now is being posted on YouTube. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Yeah.
So the live and YouTube are the same webinar.
Perfect.
You'll just get a recording. The only difference, I think you don't see the chat box on YouTube. I think that's the only difference is that you can only see the main screen and not the chat box. Otherwise, it's the same. Okay, then you must watch the webinar. They're not optional. So here's the deal with the webinars. Okay, first thing, if you're not watching the webinars, I will drop you from the class if I can, otherwise I'll just give you an F. For each webinar you don't watch, you're going to lose 5% for the course. But there is a last chance, and that is a 5-page paper. And I really don't want to make you do 5-page papers. I want you to just watch the webinars. Does that make sense? And the 5-page paper is going to be based on the webinar that you're going to have to watch anyway, just late. So don't be late on these. Is that clear? If for some reason you're going to be offline for a week, you need to let me know ahead of time and we'll do a makeup. Okay? And I'll make it work for you, but you have to know ahead of time. Okay? If you tell me Sunday, oh, I'm going to miss it, well, I'm going to say you owe me 5 pages. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, so that's a strict requirement of the class. I do have some strict requirements. I'm here to help you, but again, you have to follow the rules. Okay, there are 2 projects. There are 2 projects in this course. And I'm not going to go over right now the content of the projects. We'll have like a half an hour to do that on webinars beforehand. And then I'll be talking about it every week, basically. And those projects are group projects. So for the group projects, you can have a group of 2 or 3, but I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend 3. Okay, I'll show you how to find partners, the best way to find partners. You do not need to live anywhere near your partners. Again, the person on the boat found a partner in America, and that was fine. You'd never have to see the person. Okay, but you do need to communicate with the person. So most people do see each other, but using Skype. that kind of thing. Okay, you're allowed to work with someone in the same city as you, but you don't have to. Okay, you work together, so make sure you get along with each other. That's important. The projects will be done on a spreadsheet and not a calculator, by the way, at least the math part of it. The main reason for that is that there are some universities where if I don't use a spreadsheet for the class, they don't accept this class for transfer. So then I've got my check mark, and we've used our spreadsheet, and I make sure that this class transfers for you. And that to me is number one. If this class didn't transfer, I guess all of you would just drop the class today, right? Just a guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing you'd be dropping. Okay, so anyway, the spreadsheet is important. When we get into the discussion of the projects on a full webinar, we'll get into all the details. Okay. The other thing about the projects is that I really want you to send me your draft a few days before, by Thursday at 8 a.m. before it's due, and then I'll look at it and I'll give you full feedback. It's very hard to get an A without having done that. It almost never happens. But there's lots of A's on projects, and they pretty much all come from the ones that I give feedback on, so you can fix the problems. Okay, let me talk about communication in terms of communicating with me. We're almost done with the syllabus, by the way, which is most of this webinar. So there are a bunch of ways of communicating. If you ever need to communicate, asking a question where other people can benefit from, and there's no privacy concerns, then you need to use a Q&A forum or the project discussion forum. Q&A for general stuff, project discussion forum for the projects. I'll show you what those look like in a bit. Okay, so that would be like, I didn't understand this homework question. Could you help me? That's Q&A forum. Or things like, I don't understand the concept of the central limit theorem. Help me out with that. That's Q&A forum. Or I don't know where to find this particular assignment. Help me out. That's also Q&A forum, because other people can benefit. It's not a personal thing. If you want to contact me about personal things, that's like, I don't know, I'm in the military and I've been sent away for 2 weeks, and I'm going to have to get, some early stuff, then that is more of an email, okay? Because other people aren't going to benefit from that conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or I have a disability, I'm going to, based on the Disability Resource Center, I need extra time for the test. That's personal. You don't need to put that in the Q&A form. You can just let me know, and then I'll make it happen. Any questions on any of that? Okay. Don't text me or phone me, because again, I'm most of the time, especially outside the weekends, I'm not even near my phone. I leave my phone in my office and I go teach. I leave and I go do meetings and stuff like that. I don't take my phone with me. So I'm not normal that way. I'm not on my phone all the time, but I'm on email all the time. In my classrooms, I have a computer in front of me and I'm on email. I won't know what happened with my phone, but I'll know my email. And I'll respond within 24 hours, usually within a couple hours. Oh, one more thing that's important for you to know, is I am an early to bed, early to rise person. You send me something after 9 o'clock, definitely after 9:30. It's not going to be till morning until you get to hear from me, because I'll be asleep. I usually wake up at like 4:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. and then I'll get back to you probably before you wake up, or maybe you'll still be awake because you go to sleep so late, but probably not. So just note that don't expect anything from me late at night, and my late at night means after 9 or so, because I go to sleep really early. Okay. There is an anonymous feedback link right here. So if you ever have something to suggest for the class that you don't want me to know who you are, you can just tell me who you are if you want, but if you didn't want me to know, you can do that. And then I'll be able to see it and I won't know who you were. The main thing about what's called netiquette is be nice to each other. Don't forget that just because you're online students, you're not going to like be in the same room as each other, does not mean you're not people. So treat each other with respect. Make sure you realize that you're all people and treat each other professionally. Okay, I have office hours. And if you happen to be in Tahoe, you don't need to, but it's 8 to 10. Otherwise, again, we can meet this way. I am available always, unless I tell you, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from noon to 1, and also Monday from 2:40 to 3:40. But I'm also around a lot other times. Okay, I have a pretty flexible schedule. The times that I'm never available are between 1 and 2:40 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I'm teaching a face-to-face class there. So I'll be teaching differential equations, it turns out. Okay, the calculator. Okay, you must have a calculator for this class, and it can't be any old calculator. It needs to be a statistics calculator. TI-84, that's the calculator that all my videos have. So all the instructions are on the 84. 83 works. 89 is a little harder to figure out, but it will work for the class if you can figure it out. The N-Spire also works well, and that is easier to figure out. My videos don't show it, but it's also not that hard. And any of those calculators will work. Okay, you could use the spreadsheet that I've created for everything in the class except for the exams. And that's important to note. So for the exams, you have to have a calculator with you. You can borrow one from someone, and you need to know how to use it, obviously, or what's the point? But I recommend you have a calculator for this class. It's really important. You will fail both tests without the calculator. We're going to be using this calculator for 90% of the homework questions that we do in this class. Okay, if you're in Tahoe, I have bought a whole lot, I think like 30 or so, calculators on eBay. I take advantage of naive high school kids. I know that sounds awful, but they don't understand business, and they all sell their calculators on eBay at the same time, right after the AP exam. And in late May and June, I just get really cheap calculators. So I don't do it in a bad way. They're happy that I bought their calculator. But if they were really smart, they would wait until August 1st to sell it, because they could sell it for twice as much money. And what I do is I brought those to our library, and then the library will check those out for the entire quarter for you to use. And it's free. But you have to be able to come up to Tahoe to pick them up. That's the only thing. And to bring them back. Okay, and in fact, in a month and a half or so, I'm going to buy some more, because it's back to AP exam being done. But you have to have the calculator. You can get away until the midterm using the spreadsheet, but at the midterm, you can't. And besides that, you're going to want to practice with the calculator so you know how to use it well. If you have a learning disability or any disability, I'll make sure that it's accommodated. Pretty much everything I have, all the videos are closed captioned, so if you're hearing impaired, you'll be good with that. And supposedly everything I have works with a screen reader, so if you're visually impaired, that works. Also, if you need extra time in the test because of a proven disability, then that will happen too. All you have to do is contact our Disability Resource Center. There's a link to it. There's their email. There's their phone number. And they'll make sure that your accommodations are met. There is tutoring in this class. The cool thing is the tutors, unlike me, never go to sleep and never take any time off. Of course, there's more than one of them, so they can do that. If you go to free online tutoring, there's a link there. I'm not going to click on it, but you can click on it. Then there's something called Net Tutor, and they have tutoring 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They even do it on Christmas, which is kind of weird, but they do. That won't matter for us. But Memorial Day weekend, for example, they don't take that time off. So it's free, and free is always good. Okay, I think we're almost done with this. I have some links on getting help with Canvas in case you get stuck in Canvas. Canvas is pretty easy. Most people don't have much trouble with it. Honesty, don't cheat. That's the main thing. By the way, when you go to the Proctor Center, you're going to have to show your picture, photo ID, and that could be a driver's license or passport or whatever you happen to have, but something that is a photo ID. It could be your student photo ID. That's okay too, to prove that you are who you say you are. So that you're, if you're thinking about paying someone to take your test, think again. That won't work. You'll fail this class. So make sure that you're ready for that, for both the midterm and the final. Any questions about the syllabus before I move into what the class itself looks like?
Can I ask a question about the calculator?
Sure.
So I purchased a TI-84 Plus CE, the newest
That's great.
one. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of TI-84, so I didn't write down all the different styles.
Right.
They all work.
Okay.
The CE will look, I think the CE looks like the one I use in the webinars, but will look different than the ones on the videos that I've got.
Okay.
But it's not that different. There's a couple little changes. Yeah, Texas Instruments is kind of a pain. They kept changing their style.
Yeah.
But they all work, and the CE will be great for this class.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions before I move on to what the Canvas shell looks like? The module shell, sorry. Okay, let me go to the modules. Okay, let me go here. Okay, so this is what the modules look like. If you click on course information, I'm not going to go through all this because this is all in the syllabus too. This has all the resources the syllabus had links to, and then I have them here too. Okay, it also has a link for our college's stuff, like the library and tutoring and all kinds of different things. But then, more importantly, each week, for example, week 1, this is all the stuff to do in week 1. So let me go through these one at a time. Okay, we're not going to watch an hour video, but I'm just going to show you there is a video here. So I mentioned that there was a little intro video for every week. So this is the intro video. I did this a few years ago. The furniture's already changed, so don't laugh at me. And it's again, it's embedded YouTube. This is just 3 minutes long. I'm not going to do it. You can click the next button, and that'll send you to the next item. And this is where we are now, the orientation. Let me click the next again. And this is going to be the webinar for Tuesday, 4/9 at 6 o'clock. Same link, by the way, but I post a link lots of places. And then if you click again, these are the student learning outcomes for this week. Again, I'll let you read through them. And this is, remember I showed you that playlist of videos on YouTube for each chapter? So for this week, we have chapter 1. If you click on that, it'll send you it'll pop in chapter 1's video. And then if you hit next, that's chapter 2's video. Okay, and these are voiceover PowerPoints. So what I've done, actually I'll show that in a minute. These are the short videos I told you about. These are the PowerPoints that are the voiceover PowerPoint. And some people like to print them out and then take notes as they're watching the video because it helps them learn. So that's why I posted those. If I click next, that's the next PowerPoint, chapter 2. Okay, so that was all of the stuff that is for learning only and not for points. Now comes the points. Okay, this is the first discussion forum that you're responsible for. And what I'll do is I'll do this one. Okay, so this is, remember I told you this week we have a fun one and we have a not so fun one. Okay, and this week's, it says, please introduce yourself by stating 2 truthful facts about yourself and 1 thing that is not truthful. You will see if other students can guess what are truthful and what is not truthful. Then respond to one other student's list to see if you can figure out which are truthful and which are not truthful. Finally, after someone has responded to your list, comment on whether that student was correct, and then write about how you plan on using statistics in your future coursework or career. Post a link by Thursday or earlier so that students have enough time to respond. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit reply. And I'm going to do it. I'll always do a model. So this is my model. So here are my 3 facts. See if you can guess which are full. And truthful? No. Now I gotta do 3 facts. And let's do one is how about I received my PhD in statistics in 1993 and have been teaching statistics since then. And how about number 2? I am the statewide leader in, maybe I should say A, in the free textbook and resources movement, and am currently authoring a pre-statistics lesson. That will be offered free OFFER to for all students. And number 3 is about I disconnected the space shuttle causing it space shuttle's communication system, causing it to lose communications with NASA. And staying in orbit for an extra day. Okay, so those are my 3. And I don't know if you saw, but don't forget to actually, you have to hit post it. Okay. So then what you're going to do after, you're going to post one of these. Don't post mine because I'm sure you didn't do 2 of these 3. My guess is 2 of these 3 things are not true for you. So you have to do 2 that are true, 1 that's not true. And then you have to reply, which I'm not going to reply to my own, to one of your classmates with a guess. And then after some people have guessed or someone has guessed, you're going to reply to that person's and say how you're going to use statistics and which are right. You have to tell everyone in the class which ones are right and which ones are not right. Any questions on this assignment? This is just fun, but there's points. So you get a 10 out of 10 if you do everything you're asked to do. So I want you all to start out with 100% in this class. Any questions at all on what this looks like? Okay, if I hit next, now comes a more serious one. I'm not going to do this one because we only have so much time. I'll do this one probably tonight I'll get this one posted so that you have an example. And this is for this discussion. Please find an article online or course video that discusses a study that was done that uses one of the sampling techniques that we have discussed in this class. Of course, we haven't discussed anything yet, but that will happen Tuesday night. You'll want to search online for a journal article, news article, or course video. Here's a resource for videos. Then post just a link to the article. Okay, and by the way, if it's a very long article, you post a link and where to find the information that people need to read. If there's a 100-page article, say go to page 37 and you're going to find what you need to find. Or if there's a video, tell them what time in the video to look at so they can see the part of that video that talks about the sampling technique. Okay. Then find a link to from another student's post that has not already been analyzed from one of your classmates, and it can't be yourself. You're responding to somebody else's post. Reply to that student's post by discussing the sampling technique that was done in the study. Again, I will have a model for you so you know what these look like. Comment on whether the technique produced a representative sample, identify any biases that have occurred, describe the data collection, how it could have been improved to avoid the biases. Okay, post a link by Thursday, so there's enough time to respond. And you're going to hit reply. Just a note, maybe I'm not going to post any link, but maybe I'll just throw some just random link. Okay, let's suppose you found some article on CNN. So this article, I'm just going to randomly pick one. How about, I don't know. Oh, this sounds like a gruesome one. Suspected poacher eaten by animals. That was not, by the way, anything to do with survey design, but gruesome. And you can copy and paste a link. So do this, and this is really important. Hit a space bar or an enter after it, and then the link goes live. Otherwise, it won't be live. And that way, other students will be able to just click instead of having to copy and paste it into a search bar. It's just one of those Canvas things that makes it easier. I'm not going to post this one because this is just some random article. Any questions on the idea of that assignment? Okay, this one on the other, unlike the first one, this one takes a lot of work. Just to note, in the first one, the two truths, one untruth, feel free to answer to lots of your classmates' posts, all of them if you want, because it's just fun. Okay, as you can guess on everybody's if you want. You can guess on mine too. A lot of people have trouble guessing mine, but you'll see if you can guess mine, which one's true, which one's not true. Some people guess the right thing. So anyway, on this one, on the other hand, you only respond to one classmate because once you've analyzed it, then the analysis is done. So if you analyze one that someone's already done, then you're not doing anything new. You're just copying someone else's. Does that make sense? Okay, let me hit next. This is a secret word quiz, which of course you're not ready for yet because you haven't watched Tuesday's lecture. In fact, I haven't even decided what the secret word is going to be yet, but I will by then. This is not what yours will look like. Yours will look like when I hit preview. There we go. And you'll see it says, what was the secret word for the week one webinar? You type in your word, hit submit, and you're done. Okay, very simple, but don't forget to do it or you have to write a 5-page paper. Okay, the next one, now we're going to be talking about more difficult stuff, and that is Chapter 1 assignment. So identify the type of data that would be used to describe a response. Students' GPA. Well, if you did qualitative categorical and you hit submit, you'll notice I got it wrong. Now, you can click try a similar question, and you could try this one. Is this value from discrete or continuous set? And now it's your height in centimeters. And if you type in quantitative continuous and hit submit, I got it right. And now you'll notice a score in the gradebook is 1 out of 1. So I allow you unlimited tries to be able to get problems right. You're not going to see exactly the same problem, but the same concept. You should be getting an A on every one of these assignments because you can keep trying. If you get anything less, you're setting yourself up for not passing this class. Okay, so I want you to type in the chat box. I'm not going to give you a choice. I want you to type it in. Say, I will get A's on every assignment. And I want you to put that in the chat box. You're signing a contract here. Okay, because you can keep trying. You can even get help from me, and I'll tell you how to answer the question. You have to do the work. Don't wait till Sunday night, or it won't happen. Okay, so I want all of you to promise that you're going to do that. Because if you can't figure these problems out, you will fail the test, because that means you didn't learn the stuff. And this allows you to do it every single time. Okay? It'll take you time. This takes a long time, but I want you to get an A in every one. Those who get 75% on these, they almost always fail the class. Okay? And I don't mean that they get 75% right because they can keep trying and eventually move up to over 90%. But by the end on Sunday, you need to get over 90%. You don't have to get 100%. Okay? If you have one little typo on one problem, it's not a big deal. But you need to learn, you need to make sure you get everything right. Okay. The next, if I hit next again, that'll be chapter 2 this week. I put a lot of extra stuff this week because I want you guys to see this is a serious class. There's a lot of work in it. Also, there's no major assignments due, so I just have a lot of little assignments. And this is another one. You'll notice they don't all look the same. This one's not multiple choices. You have to type in a number. Okay, and a lot of numbers on this one. And then there's another part where that part is multiple choice. So a lot of these are multiple part questions. They're not that hard if you know what to do. Okay, let me go and that might have been the last one. Let's see. Hit next. Now we're in week 2. Okay, so that was the last one of the module. So that is pretty much what I wanted to go over for this class. I'm at 11:21. I promised we'd be done by 11:30. And so the way I do things with webinars, and this will be every webinar, is that at this point, you are free to ask any question you want, and I will do my best to answer. The question is, do we have a secret word today? And we don't, but here's something I do want to do. I want to get everybody's information, so let me unshare my desktop so I can see who you are, make sure that you're counted. If I already said that I counted you, then you've been counted, but there might be some that showed up late. And let me go stop share. Then I'll be able to see you in your names. There we go. All right, Mary I've got, Riley I've got, Allison I've got, Gabriel I've got, pretty sure. Yep. And then Alana I've got, Crystal I got, Lauren I got, Nick I got, Mackenzie I got, Juliana I got, Brenda I got, Carla I think I got, Gavelin, let me double check. Yep. Okay, these 3 phone numbers, I don't know who you are. So in your chat box, or you need to say your name, otherwise you got to write a 5-page paper. Now, if you're if you're on the phone and showing your name, then you don't have to, but just let you know that if you're one of those on the phone, you don't want to have to write a 5-page paper. So say who you are.
This is Tandia. This is
One more
Tandia.
time?
I just had to get on the. This is Tandia. I had to get on the phone because I lost connection on my computer.
Okay, no problem. I had you already, I think, right?
Okay.
Let me double check. Yeah, Tien. Let's see, where are you? I know at least I think I remembered you. But I'm going to double check just in case. Tiandia O'Neill, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I see 2 other phone numbers. There's the 0049 and the 1231, the last 4 digits.
The 49 is Brenda. I just don't have the audio on the computer, so I logged in through the phone.
Okay, that works. But I got you in already, right? Brenda, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, and the other one? I think it was Mackenzie. I think I got already also. Let's double check. Text almost. TSTST. There we go. Yeah, I got y'all. Okay. So again, what I do now is I answer any questions you have. This is when you can say goodbye, or you can say I have a question. But you're welcome to, because again, I don't have anything else to say other than answering any questions you might have. But I'm always happy to answer questions. And if you don't know how to say goodbye and leave, towards the bottom is a leave meeting button, and it might be in the menu bar, if you're wondering. And you're welcome to leave and say goodbye, but you're welcome to ask questions also. Again, big part of the webinars is Q&A time. TI 85 calculator. 85. I don't know if that has statistics, Brenda. Are you from out of town, Brenda? Or are you from Tahoe?
I'm from out of town.
You're from out of town. Yeah, 85. The problem is, I think I haven't used an 85 since 1994. So
Okay.
honestly, I don't remember all the buttons it has. That's a long time ago. That's an old calculator. And I don't think it has the statistics capability that we need.
Okay.
The one you can borrow one too is fine if you have a friend who has one that you can borrow from and give it back at the end of the quarter. eBay is the cheapest otherwise, or you can buy one from $100 and something at the store. If you can get to Tahoe, it's free.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Yeah, because I think 85 doesn't have what we need. It needs to have hypothesis testing, which I think it doesn't. Any other questions? Yeah, again, the 83, 84, 89, and the N-Spire all work. There's one Casio, I think, that works, which I don't know much about the Casio. Any other questions? With a webinar from chapter, yeah, so definitely Tuesday for chapter 1 and 2, because Monday night I'm repeating this webinar. So Monday's already taken. So it'll be Tuesday, 6 o'clock. And then after this week, I'm willing to take requests if you want a different time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 1 to 2:40. That I can't do because I'm teaching another class. But otherwise, my schedule's pretty open. Late in the week is bad because it's not enough time to do your homework and stuff. It's not bad for me, it's bad for you. But this Tuesday at 6 is set in stone. So the live webinars are mandatory to watch. They're not mandatory to watch live. So as I mentioned, they're going to be posted on YouTube. I usually within an hour or two, they'll get posted because it takes a while for it to process. They get posted, and then the secret word will be there. This one's different because this one I take attendance. This one I want everyone to watch live. Okay, but it's in your best interest to watch live because then you can ask questions as we go. Whereas if you're watching on YouTube, you could ask questions all you want, but I won't answer because it's just a YouTube video. Yeah, so there's no secret word. That's why I get everyone's names. I won't get everyone's names on Tuesdays. Okay, there'll be a secret word on Tuesday. I'll write. You'll get it then during the live webinar. Just don't forget to write it down, and then it takes 30 seconds to do the secret word quiz. You just type it in. So I made it easy. I promise. Any other questions? These are good questions.
Other than like paper and pencil, the book, and the calculator, is there anything else that you recommend that we have for the class?
Everybody's different. Some people like, I don't know, a notebook. Some people do a notebook, a journal.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can, as you're working out problems, because the homework problems, yes, they're online, but you're going to have some stuff to write to figure stuff out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And some people organize themselves real well if they have a notebook.
Okay.
That's up to you. You know, I won't see it. It'll be at your house or whatever.
Right.
But that's definitely something, pen and paper, obviously, pen and pencil.
Okay.
I don't think I have to say that, but you get that one.
Right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, the obvious, computer. Although I did have a student do the entire class on a smartphone once. I can't imagine writing an 8-page paper on a smartphone, but the person did. It was fine. Pass class. But again, you better be that weird kind of person that can do that. So computer's better. Okay, any other questions? There's a few of you left. Again, I'll stick around until there's no more questions, but or no more people left. Any questions? So we just have Juliana and Brenda and Alonza. Alana, sorry. Or Elena, it's hard. I think it's Alana. It's best guess. Any questions?
It's Elena.
Elena. Okay. Yeah, all I get is the spelling. It's hard to know what Elena
No
or
worries.
Elena. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
It might take a while to remember too, sorry. Are the modules for chapter 1 and 2 open? Everything for the entire class is open. I think I don't open the discussion forums until the Sunday before. So for this week, everything is open. But pretty much everything's always open. So if you felt like it, you could work on June's stuff. But you don't, I think it's a little early to do that. So yeah, so I keep everything open, Brenda. So it's a good question. And again, if you click on it, it should just happen. It should open up for you. If it doesn't, let me know, and then that means something weird happened, and I'll fix it. Okay, any other questions? I think we just have Brenda. Elena, any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to say goodnight. Or not goodnight, sorry. Normally it's goodnight. Today is goodbye. Normally I do an evening one. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And again, if you're watching this as an archive video, that means you got a 5-page paper because the orientation had to be done that way. Okay, so thanks a lot. And I will see most of you hopefully on Tuesday evening. Bye.
Thank you.